Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel with the movie review perhaps you've all been waiting for, and that of course is For Sinners, written and directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Miles Caton, Jack O'Connell, Wunmi Mosaku, Jamie Lawson, Omar Miller, Buddy Guy, Delroy Lindo, and Lee Jun Lee. And this is obviously the follow-up to Coogler's last film, which was Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the second entry in the Black Panther series in the MCU. And I reviewed that when it came out. I loved that film, even though I think it's his weakest of all his films, which is truly saying a lot because all the way from Fruitvale Station, this guy has made consistently one great movie after the next, but nothing that has really reached, the level of the great American classics or anything like that. And, that's not to be expected of every filmmaker to go out and do, right? But I think he's one of those filmmakers that regardless, I would say I love his movies because literally every single thing that he's made I have loved. It has made my top 10 of that year, or been an honorable mention, so on and so forth. Black Panther was in my top 10 of 2018. It was the first superhero movie to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. So yeah, I think Coogler's staying power is really non-contested at this point, and this is the first movie out of everything that he's done that was really a truly original idea, because Fruitvale Station based on a true story, and then the rest was based on the Rocky series and the Marvel properties. So this was really interesting because I really didn't know what to expect. I did have the absolute utmost faith in Coogler, even though I heard from the super early screenings that the reactions are kind of mixed. I was like, oh no, are we going to have another movie from 2025 absolutely disappoint us? Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I would have been absolutely heartbroken had Sinners been, met with mixed reception, but that was not the case at all, in a way that I really could not have anticipated. Just the acclaim that this movie has been getting. I think it has a 97 or 98 on Rotten Tomatoes with a super high average. Critics are eating this up, audience are eating this up. It's almost made $100 million at the box office opening weekend. I'll have to check those numbers later and see how they change by the time I upload this video, but this really is a cultural juggernaut that we really couldn't have anticipated, but we probably should have, considering this guy's track record. And I'm here to tell you guys that this, out of all the movies that he's made so far, is far and away his absolute best film. This is easily the best film of 2025 that I have seen so far. Easily the best movie that has been released theatrically this year. And I don't know, guys. I mean, this really was something that, even though I had the highest of expectations for it, it still met them in so many ways. And I mean, let's just get right into it. I think the thing that really brings this together, of course, is Ryan Coogler behind the pen and behind the camera. This is his best directed film to date. The way he utilizes the cinematic medium, the way he blocks these characters, the way he inserts, the horror elements from very early on in the film to kind of set up this unease and tension that continues to fester and fester throughout the 24-hour period that this film takes place over. And I absolutely love every second of the filmmaking here. I'd say for the most part, it is just absolutely astonishing what he does. And I think this is one of those movies where you look at it, and yeah, it might be April, but it's kind of hard to say that this shouldn't receive a Best Director nomination. I don't see there being at least 4 or 5 more movies that are going to be better directed than this one for the entirety of 2025. I mean, what is accomplished here is absolutely mind-blowing, and we'll get more into that later, of course. But I think from a screenplay standpoint, this was really a very tight narrative tightrope, so to speak, because Coogler has to set up so much and give so many different characters an emotional payoff and catharsis, and man, does he deliver in a way that I really wasn't expecting. I really do want to compare this movie to The Godfather in a lot of ways, and that is like the highest of compliments I can give, because it's basically, the story is, it follows these two gangster brothers named Smoke and Stack, played both by Michael B. Jordan, and they basically come back to their home in the Mississippi Delta in 1932 after having a bit of a stint in Chicago, try to buy this juke joint so basically their whole community can have a place to come together and congregate together freely without having to worry about anything else in the outside forces that surround them. And so this is a very, very prevalent story, even though it takes place over 90 years ago. And I think that not only does this film work from what it is saying and the context in which it is being told, which of course we will also dive into some more later on in this review, but also just these characters themselves. The reason I compare it to The Godfather, I think the first hour of this movie, despite a few moments here and there, is basically a crime drama. You see these guys going around, interacting with their community, doing all these things, and you get a sense that they are like very violent, no-nonsense individuals, but their community also has respect for them in a way that is so touching. And I think the sense of community is what really, really makes this movie stand out above a lot of other movies that, well, honestly, I don't ever think I've seen a movie like this. This is such an original film, and the way it blends all these genre elements together, whether it be, the gangster films or the horror elements that, come into play later in the movie. It's just an absolute masterclass in directing, because it's like, the fact that he's trying to hit all these things and he does it so well, I don't think another filmmaker who has had less experience than Coogler could potentially do something like this, because it is really so well threaded in every single way, where not a single turn feels out of place, and every single bit of character development feels so earned. Oh my goodness, the way you come to care about these characters by the end of the story really had me hooked in a way that I haven't been in a while in a movie, at least to this level of emotion that I was feeling by the end of Sinners. And I have to give it up for an incredible ensemble cast, which I almost feel like is a shoo-in for the Oscar, the new category, Best Casting, that is going to come into play at the next award ceremony, because this is just filled with one stellar performance after another. And first off, I think the real standout of the movie is the star himself, Michael B. Jordan, as Smoke and Stack. Immediately when he steps in a frame and you see the two of them interacting, the way he's able to create so distinctive personalities for each of them is so tremendous, because you can tell he is putting so much effort into these characters to differentiate them, but it feels so seamless. And I think that is the trick of being a great actor. And every step of the way throughout this 2-hour-plus runtime, you never lose sight of which one is which. You always know from just the way he inflects, his mannerisms, which one is Smoke and which one is Stack. And the way he portrays the character's emotional states as well is really, really intriguing. And I absolutely love Michael B. Jordan in this. I think he also brings a real emotion to it that, of course, we've known that he is capable of, but I think this is just elevated to a whole other level. I really do think he is Oscar worthy in this movie, at least for a nomination. I mean, we'll have to see how much traction this movie gains over the next I'd say 8 months or so, but I really do think that you could be looking at the first Oscar-nominated performance from Michael B. Jordan if he doesn't have stiff competition, which I do think is going to happen in some way. But the rest of this cast is absolutely incredible as well. Delroy Lindo is always great in everything that he's in. I still think he got egregiously snubbed for Defy Bloods a few years back. But this is a performance that I think he absolutely steals every scene that he's in. And he gets some really, really emotional and complex moments near the beginning of this movie in the first hour. And I just think his presence really elevates everybody's game around him, and I think you could say that about so many people in this cast. Miles Caton is going to be someone that everybody is talking about because his character of Preacher Boy, he's really the heart and soul of this movie, even though you wouldn't expect that. And I'm not trying to get into spoilers here, of course, but I think his character is the central figure in understanding this whole narrative, and who I think really brings it all together, especially in one scene, which we will talk about at least a little bit. But my goodness, and he can sing, he can play. I understand that he toured with her. This guy has got quite the future ahead of him, and this really, I think he could be worthy of an Oscar nomination as well. I mean, yet again, we'll see. I don't know how many strong prospects this film has in that regard, but I also want to shout out Wunmi Mosaku, because my goodness, she, I think, deserves a Best Supporting Actress nomination. If anyone could be a safer bet, I think maybe it could be her. But my goodness, she is just absolutely incredible in this. And the purpose that her character serves in the narrative and her chemistry with Michael B. Jordan is absolutely off the charts. You could say the same thing for Haley Steinfeld, who hasn't been in a great movie in a minute, let alone a great dramatic role. But here we get to see her really sink her teeth into this amazing character, and basically plays against the other Michael B. Jordan in this film so well. I absolutely love their dynamic. I love the dynamic between her and Wunmi Mosaku. Like, everybody in this cast is absolutely on fire. And talk about on fire. My goodness, Jamie Lawson in this. Like, when I first saw her on screen, I was like, oh my goodness, who is this? Immediately catches your eye, and just so supremely talented. Her whole demeanor, she's just so sexy and charismatic, and, you know, also can sing her ass off. I feel bad because I had to take a huge pee in the middle of the movie, and I don't like doing that at all. I rarely ever do it, but circumstances permitted. I couldn't get to the bathroom, so I had to leave during the scene that she performed in. But my goodness, I think even with that being said, there is still so much of this movie that I still understood, despite the few minutes I missed. But anyway, her chemistry with Miles Caton is just absolutely off the charts. It's just one of those actors that you see that just screams electricity, you know, and just such a dominating screen presence. I cannot wait to see what she does next. I absolutely think she's another standout in this movie, and I could go on and on. There's so many cast members. Oh my goodness, Jack O'Connell is so scary in this, and I think gives another one of the best supporting turns in this film, and what his character really signifies for the rest of this narrative once you dive into the second half is truly something that I have been ruminating on for a while. But just every time he's on screen, you're just so off-put by his presence, and oh my goodness, I could go on and on. This is going to be hard to top for the best ensemble of the year. I really feel that 100%. And just because all these actors are giving it their all, and everything in the script is baked in to them giving some truly great performances. But one of the other big shout-outs I have to give is the cinematography from Autumn Durald Arkapaw, who gives some of the most mind-blowing work that I think you'll see for the rest of 2025, especially the scene that everybody's been talking about. I won't spoil it, of course, but this one long take that just occurs in this one area, and I really don't say this too often, but that scene, when I saw it for the first time, not only did it absolutely blow my mind that something could be achieved like this, but I was almost in tears by just how beautiful and awe-inspiring and powerful it was. And there aren't many scenes that can get me to feel that way. I think that this is going to go down not just as one of the all-time great tracking shots, but one of the all-time great scenes in the history of cinema. Like, it really is that fucking good. And I really find it hard to believe that there will be any scene in any movie for the rest of the year that is going to top that one. Truly and deeply, I mean that. And my goodness, I mean, everybody is going to talk about that scene for the rest of the year, but there's so many great scenes in this film that just continuously build the tension on top of one another, and these character dynamics, and just like the interpersonal relationships and politics that are there within the Delta and the Deep South and this time period. I mean, this is more than just a genre film, which is why I think this really will transcend to the Oscars if it is going to continue to make the money that it's been doing. It's been doing an absolute killing. Seriously, like, when was the last time we got an original movie that wasn't based off of anything that had been this successful? I really, really don't know. I can't think off the top of my head here. But this truly, truly is something special. And my goodness, the score from Ludwig Göransson, I think this is going to win him his third Oscar. I don't even think that it matters if anything else comes out. I'm sure there's going to be some great scores throughout the rest of the year, but it is going to be very, very hard to top this one, because I would almost like to say that the music in this film is really its own character, like the blues especially. And I really love how this movie tackles and deconstructs the mythos of the American blues and American music and black music. And I love how this movie breaks down the contrast between, the classic tale between the religion and the devil's music, the blues, and of course, just the way it's evolved over time, and this massive umbrella of black music and culture that has come from it, and of course everything else in between. My goodness, there's so many things going on here. There's so many ideas from scene to scene to scene. It just doesn't end. It's so thoroughly thought-provoking throughout this entire runtime, and I know that, like, as I keep thinking about this movie, because I haven't been able to stop thinking about this movie ever since I saw it, that it's just going to keep getting better and better and better. But also just what this music means to this people as their form of escape, as their way of coming together, as their way of bonding. I mean, it is just absolutely mind-blowing what they do, and how that is just so tied into the thematics of these characters and what they tackle, how they tackle certain issues when it comes to race, and just so many things that really make this movie so special. And of course, I mean, I'd say you should go into this movie knowing as little as possible, but the second trailer kind of gave it away, so I'm going to say that there are vampires in this movie. I mean, this is a vampire movie. And the way they utilize the vampires really is saying a lot about white culture contrasted against black culture, but also, like I said, the intersectionality between the two of them, which I think is a point that most movies don't really touch on. And I think it also plays into the reason why the vampires are symbolic of what is going on at this period of time, and in this place, and in this story. And so there's so many things I could go on and on and on and on about. But I really think that this is going to be a huge Oscar player. I mean, as long as it keeps this traction up, we are going to get some big, maybe even double-digit nominations at the Oscars. And I'm calling this in April, alright? Don't, like, completely quote me on that, but I really do think that this movie is a guaranteed Best Picture nominee. This is a horror film that really transcends in a way that a lot of others don't. And sure, Challengers didn't take off. That also came in April, didn't get any Oscar nominations. But this is something, even though it has, the genre that seems like a hit against it, this is just like Get Out, which had a very, very interesting political statement that was such a tightly woven narrative that everybody was saying was one of the best movies of the year, and now I think everybody agrees one of the best movies of all time. And then The Substance was the same exact thing, in the sense that it touched on a lot of issues. It was so original, and that recently did pretty well at the Oscars from what I remember. And also this film that goes even deeper than The Substance. I really, really do feel that way. And I think that this has already been such a hit with critics and audiences that is going to continue to do so throughout the rest of the year. My only criticisms I have with it, because I do have like a couple of nitpicks, I do think, and look, I mean, I missed a few minutes, okay, don't hate me. I think, obviously, I'm going to see this again, but there are a couple moments where they really lay it on a little thick, and it's kind of telegraphed. and I appreciate what they were doing with it from a craft standpoint, but at the same time, I just think it's a little corny. I also think that there are a couple of moments that could have been elaborated on further, and maybe a couple characters that I think could have been delved into a bit deeper. But even then, everybody has such a distinct and memorable personality that I don't think that really matters as much at the end of the day, because I think what was still achieved overall is just absolutely colossal in a way that we have not seen in a long time. I mean, this is really why I compare it to epics like The Godfather, because it has to juggle so much character development, and in this one has the extra challenge of juggling a lot of different genres and tones to go along with it, but it does it in a way that's just so seamless and so masterful. And yeah, this is going to be one of the absolute best movies of the year, and I'm going to give Sinners a 9.5 out of 10. I don't know if I can give it a perfect score when I see it again, but my goodness, I think that this is going to keep growing in stature for me the more I think about it throughout the year, and is easily a shoo-in for my top 10 of 2025. I think I can say that without reservation. This is honestly, I know I said Nosferatu was the best vampire movie of all time. I think it's actually this. And we just got that like in December. I mean, how are we already at this point? I mean, sure, this year has kind of sucked overall, but I really think that this is the one that's bringing movies back. Like, oh my goodness, I hope that this continues to do so well at the box office, because we need original movies like this with such a distinctive voice, with something to say behind every single frame of the film. It is just absolutely phenomenal what Ryan Coogler accomplished here, and what is easily, far and away, his magnum opus. And yeah, you guys gotta let me know what you think about Sinners down in the comments below. Did you love it as much as me? Did you have some more criticisms with it? Or are you crazy and you didn't like it? Anyways, please let me know down in the comments below. And please smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. I definitely cannot wait to see what is coming out for the rest of the year now. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's something great around the line. I mean, of course, Life of Chuck is coming out in June. But I will say, not a movie from 2025, but I do plan on reviewing Revenge of the Sith for its 20th anniversary on the channel, so please stay tuned for that. And of course, I gotta do the discussion about the Pokemon leaks from Legend ZA with the Megas and stuff. I've just been so busy, so please forgive me if you are interested in that and have been waiting on it. It isn't like I've forgotten about it, but I promise you that I will get to it sometime soon. And please, in the meantime, you take care and have yourselves a good one.